Hi, it's Pam Hendrickson, and I wanted to share this video message with you because I was asked the best question ever recently by one of my coaching clients. And the question was, it was the most obvious question. Have you ever noticed how sometimes the most obvious questions and the most obvious answers are the best ones? Well, he asked me, he's like, Pam, I've been through all your product creation training. It's great. Like, I love all the systems and everything. But just tell me, when you sit down to create your product or service, what do you do first? Forget all the systems and steps and everything. What do you do when you sit down, the first thing you do to create your product or service? What a great question. And I thought about it, and here's my answer, is I do the same thing every time. I've never even been conscious of it, but I've been doing this for over 20 years, which is the first thing I do is I sit down and I really associate to the customer. And I really think about who they are, what's great about them, what all the great things are in their life, what they want and need, and I think about what their frustrations and what their problems are. And if I've done a good job with this, sometimes I'll get choked up and I'll get emotional thinking about what these customers have been through, what our audience is really thinking and what they're feeling and what it is they really need. And so I know this is an exercise sometimes that it's easy to pay lip service to, but it's so important, especially when you're creating your products and services, because the whole reason you're creating it is for a specific type of person or specific audience to solve that problem. So the secret is though this, so I sit down and do that, and then I ask myself two questions and I kind of meditate on them. My first question is, what do they really want or need, and what's the problem they're trying to solve? So I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm really associating to who they are and my care for them, and then I'm asking that question, okay, what do they want and need, what specifically? And I start to articulate it, I start to put words to it, to formulate what that really looks like. What are the problems they really want to solve? How do they talk about those problems? How do they talk about their hopes and their aspirations and their dreams? And I think about that, and then I just jot down some notes, like literally just in my journal. I don't even usually type them up at that point. But then the second question I ask, and this is critical, is what is getting in the way for them? Because if you think about it, the reason you're creating your product and service is to solve a problem. So it's a problem they've probably had for a while, and it's a problem that up until now they probably haven't been able to solve. So you want your product and service to be able to go in and solve that problem for them. So a great question to ask when you're starting out is, why the heck haven't they been able to solve this problem yet? And I really think about it, I just jot down anything that comes to mind. And again, the key here is specificity. Like, is it, a tool that they don't have? Is it a skill set they need? What is in the way for them? And then when you sit down, if it's a training product, like what I do, I'll sit down and outline the product. But when I'm doing that, the whole time, I've got in front of me and in my head and in my heart, what it is they want, what it is they're frustrated about, the problems they want to solve, and what's getting in the way. And then when I develop, particularly content or training, it's two tracks. The first track is all about the structure and the strategies that they need. So it's a tool, the resource, whatever that is. But the second track is about constantly making sure you're helping them overcome whatever obstacles they might be facing as they're going through your content or going through your training. So for example, where do people tend to get stuck? What has caused them to get stuck in the first place to want your product or service? But then where might they get stuck as they're going through it or as they're using it? They might get stuck because they have a belief that isn't supporting them. They don't believe they can do it. They might get stuck, they might not understand the terminology or the language that you're using. That's a big one that a lot of people underestimate. They might not understand, or they might not have a tool that they need or a resource you can refer them to. It might be a piece of technology. Whatever it is, think about what those obstacles are, and as you're developing your product and service, be overcoming these obstacles and helping them jump through those hurdles as you go. And if you can develop both tracks as you go, it's going to be a much better product. It's going to have a lot more impact, and they're going to get a lot better result, which is what this is all about. All of the content and tools that Mike Koenigs and I put out for you are designed to help you do that, to help you make more money, to have better impact and create a lifestyle for yourself where you're being able to spend your time how you want, doing the things you want, having the joy and freedom that comes from having your own business. So think about this, really associate to your customers when you sit down to create your products and services. Think about these dual tracks and have fun with it, and let me know how you've used this in your business to add more value. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon.